So how's it going, guys? Andrew here.
And Connor.
Welcome to another reaction review for a Netflix original film.
Original.
A Spike Lee joint.
Yes, sir. How we feel about it?
What's it called?
Defy Bloods.
There you go.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that was my cue. Damn.
That was I said a Spike Lee joint.
Defy Bloods.
There we go. This movie trailer came out like 3 weeks ago, probably 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was announced.
Maybe like a month.
Netflix picked it up, and we're like, oh, that's cool. Let's do this. A new Spike Lee film in 2 years? That's cool.
Yeah. 2 years.
And what do we think?
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Not as good as Black Klansman in my opinion, but it was still really good.
Not as good as Black Klansman.
Black Klansman was definitely more accessible, but this one takes way more risks.
Yeah.
But
which maybe honestly why Netflix was open to taking it.
Yeah, I think it's because of the budget too. I'm sure this budget was pretty decent.
Yeah, I assume they filmed on location the whole time.
And I'm sure he shot it on film because he's one of those film guys.
And in all different aspect ratios.
Oh,
unless that was just a filter of some sort.
I don't think so. I think he definitely would have shot it with different cameras, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think he respects film too much to
Yeah.
not just do some crappy After Effects thing.
But yeah, guys, Defy Bloods. It is a film about 4 Vietnam veterans who are getting back as a reunion to go find their fallen comrade, Norman. And Storm and Norman to bring his bones back to America, but as well find a buried treasure. About $17 million,
sweet
right?
moolah under the ground.
Yeah. So
in Vietnam.
So right off the bat,
starts out as your typical old buddies getting back together.
Not even that.
Starting. I mean, just narratively.
If you haven't watched this film and you have a weak stomach, I recommend you to possibly skip just the first 5 minutes of this movie. But at the same time, you should watch it because Spike Lee isn't afraid to show.
No, he likes
brutality,
intersplicing real events, event footage and stuff like that.
And he doesn't hold back here. He shows some brutal stuff. He zooms in on some brutal stuff. It makes
in the
holds
middle
it there.
Too,
yeah, he holds it there and wants you to stare at it to show.
It doesn't. It's not a quick cut. A couple of them might be, but if he really wants you to take in what you're seeing with your own two eyes, then I don't even know if most of this footage is even easily accessible.
Yeah, he probably had to go to some archive.
He's Spike Lee. He's gonna be able to get into whatever archive he needs to. So
but yeah, so off the bat, we're seeing a lot of the timeline of the Vietnam War, and then it kicks into a flashback
because Vietnam War was in the 60s, and you got Martin and Malcolm during that time. So that's gonna.
And you saw the downfall of Nixon and.
All the presidents.
Yeah, all the presidents during that time, and then you get the beginning of their war scene, and then you get present day, and there's only 4 of them out of the 5.
Yep.
And then you just their journey kicks off, and they're going into the heart of the forest to find where they buried Chadwick Boseman.
Yep.
And I will say, this movie is long.
Oh yeah,
it's 2.5 hours, pretty much 2:35.
It definitely feels like 2.5 hours too.
Yeah,
it's not
it definitely does. It's not. It doesn't feel longer, but it doesn't fly by. I will say that third act flies by, but those first 2 acts make it feel like it's long. So, the film itself, like I just said, the first act, I was slowly getting into it, and then by the second act.
Yeah.
I kind of
said once they hit the jungle.
Once they hit the jungle, it was awesome because you got rid of the bars and expanded into almost like an IMAX version of just television. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And then I was like, oh, I'm not liking the movie as much as I first was. But then eventually there's a certain point where I hit rock bottom, and I'm like, I don't know if I can recover. I'm not really liking.
There's definitely a sloppiness in terms of character motivation
and just script writing. That's the best you can come up with.
It's maybe he was just trying to figure out where he wanted to take all these different people, and there are a decent amount of characters, so
there's literally there is a plot point where Connor and I are duh.
Yeah, there is something that you could sniff out a mile away before a certain character walks a certain way.
And
you're like, oh god, here we go.
And so,
and like, but you said there was like no tension as well in that scene. Yes, there's no tension.
But then later on,
but before that, I was like, they brought up that I'm not gonna spoil. They brought up that those might be possible.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, like that can happen any second.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm
and
like,
so it could, but then
there was some tension before that, but the scene that should have had the most tension
had zero
tension. It was really, so I'm like, come on, Spike. Like you should have felt like this was not going to be great, you know?
Yeah.
But whatever.
Anyways, but yeah, and then the third act, like the last 40 minutes of the movie, I think hit it into high note. It almost felt like a Quentin Tarantino movie almost.
It did, yeah.
And then just like
a lot of blood, a lot of shooting.
And then some
stabbing.
The final minutes of this movie catch up to modern day. And I wonder if they almost filmed that almost not last minute, but like
the end
of
production.
Yeah, the end of production. Maybe Spike Lee just kind of had he's like, wait, I have to add this in there. And
there's some pretty relevant stuff that they threw in. Maybe that's what you're referencing. Yeah. I don't want to say anything.
No, it is. That's what I'm referencing.
The group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wow, this is pretty incredible. I'm like,
how we're watching a movie right now.
Yeah, judging when you see the review date of this video, you'll know what what's happening in our country, and it's just like, wow, this is kind of on the nose, present day. So maybe he did film that a week or two ago, you know.
Yeah. A standout thing definitely is all the performances.
Oh, especially the lead performance.
Yeah.
The father.
The father of, oh my gosh, we didn't even...
Delroy Lindo.
Yeah, last Black Man in San Francisco.
Oh, our boy.
Yeah, he plays the friend, not the main actor in that movie, but he is the son in this movie who...
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah. Tags along with these guys on their journey.
It's going to be in the HBO series.
Lovecraft Country. I'm really excited for. But yeah, their dynamic is really tough. It's really interesting, but the father is just... He has some monologues, and you're like, bro... I'm disappointed that
that's where the meats of the third act comes in.
Yeah, that's when I'm like I was glued. I'm like, I'm back in.
You're not rolling with that character for most of the time in terms of his decision making. But once you see what Spike is trying to get at, especially from a mental standpoint for that character, then you're like, okay.
And it's like
we see why he is the guy that ends up doing all these things, you know.
And that's one thing I want in this movie, Spike, He's very blunt, I think. A little too blunt with what he wants to get across.
Some symbolism.
And I wish that he would have just taken more of just a unique artist approach to it, to not just
be more clever.
Yeah, it was a little okay.
Subdued.
It was okay, this is almost
this is not even funny, okay.
No.
You know, that's kind of lazy.
So, and there was really one moment where
on the nose.
It was on too on the nose. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Throw that away. It's not even we get it. But I think that I picked up on what he's trying to say, what he's crying out for, and just the fact that the big takeaway is, in history class, we learned about the Vietnam War and that not a lot of people liked it. There's a lot of people that hated it. But one thing that I don't think people, when we were growing up focused on is how we took African Americans and we forced them into this war. Even though we
during the civil rights era,
we were just you know what, we're mad at you here, so we're gonna take you into this war, and you're just gonna die to fight for your country that doesn't even like you.
Yeah, they threw in an interesting statistic in the movie. They said you make up 10% of the country, of your entire country, but you make up 30% of the troops in Vietnam.
Yeah, damn.
That's some hard facts, boy.
And a big takeaway also from it is that once you're in a war, the war never really ends.
Now, especially Vietnam.
Yeah.
Because we didn't win that war, and there was a lot of casualties, and was it even worth it? In terms of the PTSD and just these poor men's lives just completely ruined after the war, basically. So, and that's personified in our main character.
Yeah.
And I will say it's probably my favorite performance of the year.
And to
be fair, we haven't watched a ton of amazing films this year, but I will say that he's probably given the best performance of the year.
So knocking it off, and I was gonna say it earlier though that since this is a Netflix film, who knows if the Academy's even.
We'll see what they do with their boy Spike, because Black Klansman was pretty big. Yeah. So this is Netflix's test. You know,
if they accept this one, it's like, well, then you have to.
You open the door. You can't. Yeah, you can't.
Not just for Netflix, but for any streaming service should be allowed.
Right.
Or then you're going to be racist against streaming services. So that's not going to look pretty. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think Connor thought I wasn't liking the movie halfway through.
I was like, oh no, Andrew's not gonna like this movie. I'm kind of liking it, but he's not. Oh geez.
But then that last act really, I was like, okay,
very strong.
This is really good. Yeah. Like this is what I was wanting the whole time, and I didn't get the whole time, but it was still worth it. I totally recommend this movie. And since it's on Netflix, I think everyone should watch it. It's like number one as of today. When we were watching it, it was number one streaming.
Should be number one
for like the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. What else are you gonna watch on Netflix, huh? 13 Reasons Why season 4.
Or you're gonna watch that
13 Seasons
film,
Why
365 days or whatever.
Oh Lord, I feel bad for anyone that barely saw that.
But
if you're choosing that over this, it's long, but so is The Irishman, and that was amazing. So it's
So
you could pause it, just take a bathroom break or get some food whenever you want.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, it's a good movie. I really like it.
Spike Lee brings some more powerful stuff.
I just hope I hope that this movie has people talking about it, because as of now, Stuckman hasn't done a review yet.
He hasn't really done it. He didn't do Shirley either or anything like that. So.
Or King of Staten Island. So
maybe he took a break or something.
He was watching Artemis Fowl and Maleficent 2.
That's amazing. He's like, I'm getting my money out of this Disney Plus.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe he canceled
great.
Netflix. 7 out of 10. This is definitely the best one I've seen so far today.
Yeah. So, this is keep going. Keep
going. My bad. Not as good as Black Klansman. Maybe I'll like this more on a second watch, because I didn't like Black Klansman as much as I did my second watch.
Dude, that ending of Black Klansman. Whew.
Oh yeah, that is. We were watching that round table, and they asked him was that footage necessary? He's like, of course it's necessary. If you understand what's happening, that it's necessary. And nothing in my film, all the footage in this movie
is so necessary.
Oh yeah, you get some crisp Martin footage at the end. I'm like, damn, that looks really good. They restored that really good.
Yeah.
So it was pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm. And it's just we need
Malcolm's clip in the beginning.
Talk about this a lot.
Yeah, just if you know who Spike is and what he goes for in his films, especially nowadays, now that he sees his country in turmoil all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been that way for forever, but especially right now, this is a film that you definitely need to watch right now. So.
Yeah, I give it a B.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you didn't love it as much as Staten Island then.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Staten Island.
I guess, we didn't even talk about our grades for that movie. So
I like Staten Island more.
Wasn't sure where you were going with that.
But they're two polar opposite movies. Yeah. So there's some war drama and a coming of age dark
funny
comedy.
Lines in this one.
Yeah, there is. There's funny lines.
There's one. Oh God, what does he say?
What are you thinking of?
The guy that wears the hats for most of the film. He says something really funny that both of us busted out laughing.
Dang, I don't remember.
Oh God, I don't remember either.
Oh my gosh, I know the scene you're talking about. Shoot. Oh, I'm so mad.
Whatever. We'll rewatch it after this.
Anyway. Not tonight, but
I meant that part.
Oh, okay. I was like, I'm not watching another 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we're watching it twice in one day.
But anyways, guys,
very good. Go see it, please.
We don't know the next review. It might just be Tenet, even though that got pushed.
Yeah, I don't. There's that Palm Springs movie coming out.
Oh yes, Andy Samberg. We'll definitely review that.
Check it out.
But look out for our mid-year top 10.
That'll be coming soon. We'll catch up on hopefully a few more before we put out that.
Well, yeah. Now you're saying another few days, we can just maybe watch one every day.
Yeah, there you go. We have 2 more weeks. So.
All right, guys. Well, this has been Andrew.
This has been Connor.
Peace.
It's been good.